All right. Hello, guys. I'm Yvonne Ashton. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Mayesh, and Dave Taggy is here with me today. He is from our Phoenix branch.
Hi, nice
Welcome, Dave. So I want to welcome everyone to our second Mornings with Mia show. Super excited to have you all here with us. Today we're going to be chatting all things flowers, general flower things, marketing news, flower business, and flower design. And as I mentioned before, we have a lot to get through. So keep on saying good morning to us in the comments, and then we are going to go ahead and get started, guys. So first up is what's going on in the world of flowers. Dave, can you talk about what's exciting in the world of flowers? I know purchasing just sent us a really great list that we can kind of do a brief summary on.
I want to thank Billy and our Los Angeles Purchasing Hub for putting together our Flower 411 list, and it's posted on the blog now. So that's detailed. You can see what's coming and going. Some of the items that I love are ending, like bearded iris, columbine, hellebores, lilac, blooming jasmine, and spirea. Some items are a little bit more limited now, like chamomile and cafe dahlias. They haven't quite come into season. Mock orange is another one. Lupins are going crazy right now, but they're going to probably be ending soon as well. We're limited on protea varieties. Most of the pink and white varieties, kings, queens, are kind of limited right now. I did pull a few summer blooms. Most of these are on their way out of season, but I want to do a little show and tell with them because we actually have some beautiful artichokes here. And these were actually grown here in Phoenix, Arizona. Nice and branchy. These are the cardoons. They bloom blue. These are all domestic blooms we have out today. These are some of the Oregon peonies. They're just enormous. I mean, if you look at the size of these things, this is Coral Sunset, which is a relative of Coral Charm. It's got a little bit more pink to it, but as you can see next to my head, they're huge. So real good value for your money.
Yes, I love that.
The spirea is also fabulous right now, and these are also coming out of Oregon, which I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and this is the kind of stuff that I look for when it comes into season. So again, if you want a full comprehensive list of the things that are coming and going out of season, just head over to www.mayesh.com and check it out.
Yeah, and Allie's getting ready to post the link in the comments for you guys as well. We'll be doing that as we're mentioning different links and things like that. Thanks, Allie. And I also wanted to mention that the product featured in this month's floral design video, Southern Smilax, we've been receiving a lot of questions about the availability. So typically it's not available right now, and it isn't quite ready yet. It'll be ready mid-June, but it is normally available year-round except for the following month. So April, it's a little spotty, maybe, might not. So you don't want to make that guarantee to your clients. May and June, absolutely not available, but obviously because of Mother Nature, it will be available mid-June this year. And then July is also a little bit spotty, like April. So basically August through March, you're good, with a slight chance in some April and July. So, when we're shooting videos, we do these months in advance, and we had to kind of switch things around a little bit. So I apologize for any of the confusion that we caused, but hopefully that clears it up and you'll be ready to go with Southern Smilax now. So on to the next question. And so this one's coming from, I believe her name is Adana, and she wants to know, do all Mayesh centers carry a large variety of flowers? She's in California and is relatively close to 3 branches, but she doesn't know which one might have more stock than others.
Absolutely.
Dave, you want to address that?
We have an awesome group of individuals in our central purchasing team, and they're the people that find all the unique flowers and greens that we carry. And they're sourced from all over the world, so things can come in when they're even out of season locally, we can get them. Each branch has its own purchasing agent on site, and they merchandise that location based on what makes the most sense to their client base. So every Mayesh branch has the ability to special order just about anything you need. So if you're not seeing something in inventory, just ask your sales rep to order it in for you. We'll do what we can to make you happy. Bring stuff in.
Exactly. And how lucky is she to have 3 close to her?
I
That
know,
doesn't happen
right?
very often, right? Okay, next question is from Amanda, and she wants to know, is there any way to see pricing on different garlands without having to call in or email?
Unfortunately not. Logistics play a huge role in flower pricing. So depending on where you are, it's gonna be different. Always consult with your sales rep about pricing questions, no matter what they are, whether it's garlands or flowers or anything. And if you're planning on shipping from one of our national shipping hubs, they can also give you the landed cost, which basically means that's your flower cost plus the freight included to transport it to your destination. So it's always good to call in and talk to a human being as opposed to.
Right. Yeah, and everything's custom, so it also depends on what you're including in there, I think, as well. Amanda, I'm like you. I'm not a big fan of talking on the phone with people unless I absolutely have to, but in this case, it's definitely a must.
We love to hear your
about
voice. Call us.
Yeah.
Or pop in and see us.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. I don't have a name attached to this, so I apologize for whoever sent in this question. But someone wants to know, what breed of roses last the longest, and how can you prolong their life to make your arrangements last longer?
Well,
good question.
Typically, the hybrid tea roses that have been around for the past 20 years or so have been constantly genetically modified. They're moving towards eliminating fragrance in those to prolong shelf life. So less fragrance, longer lifespan. Typically, the more fragrant a flower is, the shorter its lifespan is going to be, and this is true with any flower. To get the longest life out of your roses, we have posted a care and handling guide for you on our blog as well. It's fairly detailed, so I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but you're welcome to look at that and print it out and use it. It really gets down to good care and handling and properly conditioning your flowers, which I'm a huge advocate of. So.
Right. Yeah. So the garden roses that smell amazing will usually last like how many days?
Well,
like
amazingly, the varieties that are bred in garden roses that we're carrying now have been bred because they have a longer shelf life. So that's why we're kind of limited on how many, like for instance, white. There's only 2 or 3 different varieties of white that we carry. And that's because they've been bred. They can be shipped from where they're grown in South America without large amounts of damage, and they last well. Some of them take 5 or 6 days to get fully open. So that's another consideration. If you want those big, beautiful open blooms, you have to stage bringing them in time so you can have them fully open and for your event. So
yeah, good stuff. Good. All right. Raynell McNeil wants to know, ordering flowers can be tricky when you need specific color and variety. Where is the best source to select both color, hue, and variety for ordering flowers?
Easy. Go to mayesh.com. We have an extensive online flower library to help you select the perfect choices for your event. I always tell my clients, if it's something that's really super specific, take a photo and text it to me or send me a color swatch. Or even email me your inspiration board, whether it's on Pinterest or whatever you're using. And that way I can get an idea of your complete color palette and help you complete the look that you're going for. So color is super specific and it's hard to talk about it, but it's easier to see it and then can actually go from there.
For sure. This question came up and honestly, I can't find the blog post because it was so long ago and we just switched over our website, and I think maybe something happened to this post because I searched for a good 20 minutes for it and couldn't find it. But it was written, I think, by Sabrina, which if you guys know her, she's amazing. And she was saying about a good way to talk about color was something that would be more standard instead of like saying, red or pink, using fruits and vegetables to help describe colors and things like that. So that way it's a little more specific in terms of what color you're meaning, because everyone sees color differently too. And then on top of that, different colors look differently depending on where they're grown and in what parts of the world. So even like if you're trying to be specific by variety, like with a rose, it could be different just depending on where it's grown. So just something to keep in mind. And that's why having that dialogue with your rep is so important, having that communication. Dave, it looks like we lost your picture, just so you know. Not sure what's going on, but that's okay. We can keep on talking. So when you guys talk colors with your clients, what do you do? Can you share that in the comments? I'm totally curious. Oh, Ellie can see you. I can't see you though. Oh, so can Nicole. Everyone's saying they can see you, but I can't. There you are.
I don't know what happened, but I love technology.
Yeah, I don't know
anyway,
either.
If I could just add on to what you were saying about communicating about color. One of the dirty words in floral design is peach as a color, because what tone of peach are you talking about? Pinky peach, orangey peach, coral is another one. So I actually had a design teacher that told me, pull out your box of Crayola crayons and look at the color on there and try to match it up to that. I mean, that's another way you can do it. So there's a lot of ways, but being the visual type of media that we're using, I think is super important to not be able to just communicate about color, but to be able to present the colors. So color swatches, inspiration boards, super important.
Exactly. Yeah. And we use Pantone colors a lot within my team. I know we're a little bit different because, Studio Terrain also said that they refer to the Pantone website. So we love that website. And we use that a lot, but it is nice because there is Instagram and Pinterest and things like that. So I think it's easier these days to kind of communicate the color schemes that you're looking for. Okay, next question is, Heidi wants to know, how do you handle quality control of your flowers for events? Is there one person who takes charge of this?
Okay, well, the entire Mayesh staff here in Phoenix is trained. I mean, most of us started at the bottom, worked our way up, so we know everything from receiving, processing, up to, the care, handling, sales, and transportation of the products. First of all of the pre-booked flowers have been ordered special just for your event. We inspect all the flowers at the time we receive them. We're looking for blemishes and other problems. Each sales rep is responsible for quality checking the assembled orders for their clients before they're packaged and ready to be delivered. This includes checking that the colors work well together in case we need to switch something out, and making sure no items are missing. We never ever use old product on special orders. We condition all of our flowers for you in a commercial grade low sugar holding solution to start hydration, but to not open the blooms yet, so that they can arrive to you in a perfect stage for you to handle. Fragile flowers are individually wrapped and stored in buckets in our cooler until you either pick them up or we deliver them to you. And we can even stage delivery so that you're receiving things in a way that makes sense to you, to get like lilies and other things open, and fragile things we can send later. They're safer in our cooler in a lot of cases than they will be elsewhere. So.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dave. All right, so we're moving on to our next segment, marketing news. My favorite segment, since that's what I do. All right, guys. So there's tons of things going on right now. I feel like it's like that every week. I'll be probably saying that every month that I talk to you guys. Instagram. Do you guys know that they broke over 700 million followers about a month ago? And 100 million of those came on within just the last 4 months. That is crazy. So if you're not on Instagram yet, which if you're in floral design, I hope that you are. But if you're not, you need to get up on Instagram for sure. And so with all of this growth, most of it can be attributed to stories, Instagram stories. It says the 100 million came on, and oh, the last 100 million just came on knowing Instagram with Instagram stories. So the rest of us that have been on there for a while, the 600 million of us that were on there before the last 100 million, right? We've been watching Instagram grow and add all these different features and things. But the new people, they know Instagram now with all of these features. So it's just important to make sure that you're using all of the features that Instagram uses or offers you as a marketer. So you want to obviously make sure that you're taking care of your feed. Have any of you guys tried Instagram Live? I've done it a couple of times. It's, definitely scary because I need to get, first of all, a tripod to hold my phone because it's like wobbling all over while I'm talking. And so it's a little funky, but once you get your setup, I think it's good to make sure that you're doing some Instagram Live and then obviously Instagram stories. So have fun with the filters that they offer. You can add personality and style, sometimes branding stuff too. So now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but you can click on the hashtags that you add into your stories, which I did a story yesterday with the hashtag and I didn't do it today, but today I added a URL. So you can click on a URL in the Instagram story, and you now can also add a location. So for you guys who have a retail flower shop, that's really cool. So you can add the location to your story. People can click on that and then see other different Instagram posts and stories around that location. Pretty cool. It also says in my notes, if you have a public page, your stories are searchable by hashtags and location. So location, just kind of talked about that, but now your stories will show up in the search results, which is just really, really great. So make sure that you're doing the Instagram stories. So important to your brand. And it's just so exciting. Tanya, I see you said, oh my gosh, I'm so late. That's okay. I'm glad that you're here. I don't know if you're talking about Instagram or just getting here, but if you're here, we'll have the replay available for you guys up on the blog with the notes from today's show as well. All right. Oh, now someone can't see me. That's weird. I have no idea what's going on. But can you guys hear me still? Okay, good. I'm sorry, Nicole. All right. Yeah, it's just apparently everything is buggy today, and I'm just glad that I have power right now. Okay, so what else did I want to talk about Instagram stories? There's a lot of things going on with that. If you do stories, you can show who can be suggested based on the activity of your followers. So that's pretty neat too. So kind of pay attention to that. More ways people can find you and bring people to see your Instagram page, which is stories, again, because it's searchable now and you can show up in those search results. And then if you want people to follow you, you can double check that your business page is public, not private. I actually see that still, especially in the floral industry, where a lot of people, maybe once upon a time, they use the page as a personal and then they switch it over to a business page. If you use it for your business page, make sure that it is a public page and not private. Otherwise, people aren't going to be able to find you, and that's not good. Another feature that Instagram just added, and I have not used it yet, is called Rewind. Have you seen this, Dave? So you can do like a little video and then hit the rewind button and then it rewinds it. Might be cool for design. Have any of you guys used this? I'm not sure. I'm totally curious to see if anyone's seen it or used it. I'd love to know. I'd love to see like a really great flower example. But if not, make sure you look for that. It's just it looks like a rewind button that you would see like on your DVD player. And then the last cool Instagram feature that I wanted to talk about is called the eraser tool. So this is, you can take a picture, do a overlay of a color and put over the whole entire picture. And then you can use the little eraser thing and make pictures and things like that. I am not good with that kind of stuff. That would be more of like an alley thing, right? That we do. But that's just really cool. Just a really great way for you to get creative Yeah, Allie says, yep, haha. Just a really great way for you to get creative and mix it up a little bit with your Instagram posts and Instagram stories. So make sure you guys check that out. Next up is Facebook. So Facebook, as you guys know, owns Instagram, and they recently added Messenger ads, right? So there's Facebook Messenger, and you can do a Facebook Messenger ad on Instagram. So I saw the example, and I'll try and post a link. I do have a link. Allie, can you post the link that I have for this? And so what this is that there's an ad, and so you can have a call to action where the people click on the button and it opens up a Facebook Messenger message, and it sends it to you. And there are all these bots. Apparently there's over 100,000 active bots, which is really cool. And I think there's different services that you can use to help you kind of reply automatically and very smartly though. And to be able to, answer basic questions like, what time are you open? Or what time do you close? Are you open now? And these bots can help you answer those questions. So you don't have to be on Messenger 24/7, right? Because we all need to sleep and, have a work-life balance and all of that. But it's something for you guys to check out and definitely look at, especially for you guys that have a local presence. I think this is just really exciting and cool stuff that's happening. The guy that I listen to every week, his name's Mike Stelzner. He's with Social Media Examiner. And he did a talk about how bots and Messenger and things like that, that's kind of like the future. So definitely kind of pay attention to how this is progressing, and just make sure that you're aware of it, even if you're not using it right now. So that way you're comfortable. And when it's time to make sure that your business is doing this, for your marketing, that you're there. And of course, I'll be here to help you with that. Okay. Pinterest. So Pinterest ads and promoted pins are going to show up if someone clicks or clicks the show me more circle pin on the pin. You guys, we talked a little bit about that. You'll see more promoted pins. You don't have to do anything. They'll just show up if your image is visually similar. So again, Pinterest is, I feel like it was like at this really big high, and then kind of Instagram came in and Snapchat and all these different things. But Pinterest obviously is still trying to up their game. So make sure that you don't forget about that. Make sure you're adding your images, and also be careful with your images. Make sure, on Pinterest, lifestyle images convert better. But for Pinterest, in typical marketing thing, lifestyle images convert better. But in Pinterest, you want to make sure that your picture is very clear about what the picture is of. So if you're posting a floral design or a bouquet, you might want to make sure that that image is clean and just is showing those things, not with a lot of background noise or stylization and things like that. So just something to keep top of mind when you are pinning things to Pinterest, or you have images in your blog. You want to make sure that you're adding those to Pinterest, so that way they're showing up as promoted pins. Pretty cool, right, guys? Pinterest is also doing something similar. When you click on a pin and the images show below that are more like this. Have you guys seen them more like this? We talked about that again last month. Those will also be included in promoted pins as well. Metrics, they changed around the metrics a little bit on Pinterest. You can see metrics on individual pins by clicking the graph button. You'll see total engagement, close-ups, clicks to a website, and saves. Again, pretty cool. Pinterest is, again, trying to step up their game. So check all of that new stuff out. I also wanted to talk about real quick about Google Lens in your camera. This camera. You can open up your camera, point it at a business, and then the Google Lens is going to know the name of the business, tell you the rating for it, and sometimes you can even purchase items from the business. Folks, this is in just doing that and that. That is it. How amazing is that? When I heard about that, I just about fell off my chair. again, it's amazing how fast everything is changing. So again, make sure that your business is on Google, right? And that you're paying attention to your ratings, that you're just up on your marketing game, guys, because that is just amazing. People could walk around on the street, walk past your business, take a picture of your business, and then bang, they have all of the information about it before they even walk in. Just really cool. Also with Google Photos, so you can tell what pictures to share with who automatically. Apparently you can set up these rules and things like that. So if there are pictures of flowers and you want to share them with your coworkers, but photos you only want to share with your family members, Google Photos is allowing you to do that. Again, really cool, something neat. Check it out. I have one more thing about Facebook. So you can see the number of saves on your posts. So if you're posting, I actually save things. Dave, do you save stuff on Facebook at all?
No, not very
Posts?
often. I do like the memories that come back every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the memories too. So like on the Facebook post, there's a little kind of bookmark, like flag on the top, I think right corner, if I'm remembering correctly. And you can click that to save it for later. And I do that a lot because I'm just on a lot of different social media platforms, and I have sometimes a lot of meetings and things like that. And I know that I don't have time to look at it right away, but I know that I want to go back to it eventually. So now Facebook is letting you guys see who are saving your posts, which is really cool. And then for Facebook ads, you can now create ads based on the audience of people who are saving your ads. Again, something really cool. So you can target these people who are very interested in your content that you're posting. And then another little small thing about Facebook is you'll be able to, again, soon choose 5 featured pictures for your business page soon, which is kind of cool. I haven't seen it. I don't have that changed. Maybe you guys do, but something to kind of pay attention to. So again, lots of really cool things going on in marketing. And that's it for this segment. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Post them in the comments, and I will try and address them next month or within the blog post, or maybe an extra just live random video that I do. You never know, right? Okay, so on to flower business, guys. From Tanya. She's new to Floral and Mayesh. Thanks, Tanya. She registered with us after attending the Intrigued conference. Just so you guys know, we do sponsor we do our own workshops, and we sponsor lots of different workshops in flowers, and we're involved with lots of different things. So Intrigued is one of those. She wants to know, pricing for her clients is something she needs guidance on. How does she figure out what pricing to pass along to her clients with flowers, markup, design, etc.?
Well, this is an important subject, and I think we covered it last week as well. Industry average is around 3 to 3.5 times of markup on fresh product, with 15 to 20% in labor. Wedding, corsage, handwork is usually a 5-time markup. And hard good costs are usually doubled after you add the freight to them. So it's pretty simple formula. Of course, depending on your area demographic, you may need to adjust that a little bit based on your business model. So,
right. Yeah, that's great. And we did cover that last week. It's in the show notes. I'll add it again to the show notes in our blog post for this show. But if you guys had anything anyone that's watching, anything to share with Tanya about markup or how you manage that. But welcome to the industry, Tanya, and good luck with everything. I'd love to hear how everything goes for you. Okay, next question is from Cortland. She says, I'm new to the industry and pretty young. How long after being in business should I raise my prices?
Well, being competitive is super important, but you should set your standards that make sense with your business model. For instance, artists who work out of their home have a far less overhead cost, and that can translate to savings for your clients. But you also want to pay yourself for all that creative labor that's involved. Good suggestion would be to network with other florists and kind of, see what they're doing, what works for them. You could also take some small business management classes or go to some seminars, and that might help you put some things into perspective. So.
Exactly. And I have Ryan O'Neill here. Yep. Are you ready to join us, Ryan? I'm going to actually bring him on because I feel like this question comes up a lot and he's an expert with this. Okay, I'm going to hit the invite screen, Ryan. Hopefully you're ready. I didn't plan this and I meant to call you, Ryan, yesterday, but I ran out of time as I do every single day. But I would love to chat after this as well. Okay, so I'm inviting Ryan to the screen. We'll see. Give him a second here to come on, and he can talk a little bit more about pricing and all of that, because it's really important. And he did a really great thing. We have an old wasn't that long ago. We did a live chat with Ryan about margins and markup and his philosophy on that. So it's always fun to have an expert on that. All right, so he is connecting. While he's connecting, let's see. Is there anything else that we can do? Oh, do you want to go over okay, Shelby, we'll do the next question real quick while Ryan is getting connected. She says she's familiar with normal industry standard of marking up product, but I'm curious about labor. For instance, setting a price as a freelance designer. How do you figure that out? How much you're worth or how much to charge per hour, which is a great question.
Yeah, and in most cases, the person hiring you is going to tell you what they can afford to pay you. It's kind of the other way around, but it does open up a dialogue for you to negotiate with them. I know from years of talking with my florist friends and making recommendations for people in the industry who are looking for work, if they like your work ethic, if you work good for them, they're going to pay you enough so that they can keep you on their roster for future use. So really, it's about who you are and how hard you're willing to work for them. Communication, negotiation.
Awesome. Yeah. And then I reached out to Brian, my husband, who's the Miami branch manager, and he helps source a lot of freelance designers for when we have destination events here in the area, which we have quite a few. And he said on average for this area is $25 an hour. I also found a post on Flirty Fleurs, and the people answered the question usually said between $15 and $25 an hour. And we'll post that link here in the comments for you as well. And I also did a poll, guys, asking you guys how much you pay for freelance designers in your area. And most people said between $19 and $21 an hour. So that's interesting. I hope that helps, Shelby. Ryan is having issues getting on. Ryan, I resent it. Hopefully that worked for you. We'll see how that goes, but we'll keep on moving on until you get on to the screen. Okay, so next question up is from Hannah. She is also new to the wedding floral business. Welcome, Hannah. We kind of suck you in and don't let you back out, right, Dave? Okay, so she says she's been getting inquiries via her website for where brides are asking for prices. She says once she suggests a face-to-face or a phone consultation to determine specifics so she can give a quote, they are not responding. Is this normal? Are price seekers to be expected? And how do florists handle this step?
Well, I think timely response is always key to any inquiry. Most brides are already shopping your competition to find the best value, and they may commit to the speediest and most confident responses. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword if you post pricing online, because some people put out prepackaged pricing on their websites. That might appeal to some brides, but it might also limit your options for the larger, big, cool events, or it might scare away some of the smaller, more unique clients. I really think this is something we could open up to our viewers to answer, being that you're all the floral professionals doing this. I'm kind of in my wholesale box. So yeah, why don't we hear from you guys? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone, let us know what you think. How do you handle this? So, and while people are hopefully will let us know what they do or their experiences with this is Christy Holsey gets asked this question quite often in our workshops, and she has kind of a price list that she sends to all people who inquire about a wedding. So that way, I guess it depends, if you're new and you kind of want everyone, that's great. But I think you'll get to a point where you know the type of client that you want, you know how much money you want to make and how you're going to do that. And so that's kind of where it comes, where sometimes people have a minimum wedding that they want to do. And that then kind of just funnels the right client to you. So it's just, I think, you could do it all different sorts of ways. Nicole is saying she gives a starting price guide, almost like minimums for typical bride items. That way the bride can gauge if I'm going to be in their price point, which I think is a good way, Nicole, and to Hannah, because that way, again, you're not wasting time with people who might not be able to afford you. And if you don't want to play that pricing game, which most people don't want to do that, that's a good way of, again, getting your information out there and not also having a face-to-face, because that costs you time and money, even if you're not charging for that. So you need to kind of take that into consideration as well. And Nicole is saying that, yes, her brides really like this process. That's awesome, Nicole. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else watching, do you guys have anything to share on how you handle this with your brides, with your potential clients? But that's awesome. Okay. All right. So, Lisa says, they send a getting to know you form with a budget as one of the questions. And if they seem to be, hold on, it just moved. If they seem to be a bit lower of a budget, we'll give out average prices. So that's great. Thanks, Lisa. And then let's see, Cassie says, I haven't had trouble with brides not wanting to meet with me, but I have used FaceTime a lot to work with brides that are not local. I love that. I think that's a great way of doing face-to-face, like especially for initial one, I think. And then she said she also has a guide that I use for varieties of flowers, showing brides expensive varieties and cost-effective varieties and price per piece. So that is awesome. Allie just posted our educating clients on pricing from our floral forum. I totally forgot about that, Allie. Thank you. So we have we haven't done one in a while. We have to get back up on that. But so we have a group of florists that we reach out to with questions occasionally and post that up on the blog. So Allie asked them this exact question. So go and check that out. And then Nicole also added, for those who say that they don't have a budget, she started throwing out numbers and then miraculously they have a number they share. So I think that happens a lot too. And honestly, I think brides, this is their first time really dealing with a large kind of floral anything, right? And so a lot of times people just don't know. So it's going to be your guys' job to educate those brides and those clients on what things cost, and also to set expectations. And I think I talked about this a little bit too last month, but definitely trying to make sure that you're putting content out there so that way they know what things cost before they reach you. So that way they're not asking for a $2,500 centerpiece and then that's their whole entire wedding budget, right? For flowers. That happens a lot. All right, I'm gonna try and find Ryan one more time. Let's see, where are you, Ryan? Are you here yet? And we're gonna try and invite him one more time. I don't see him in the list. Hold on. Oops, clicking the wrong thing here. Invite. All right, so I'm gonna try and invite Ryan one more time. And he can talk a little bit about all of this. Actually, he has a lot of things to say about these last couple of questions that we just talked about. So let's see if this works. If not, Ryan, we'll try and do next month for sure. And we'll probably be planning some fun stuff with Ryan here soon, because we're working with, just full disclosure, we're working with Ryan O'Neill from Stem Counter, his really great florist app to help plan wedding flowers and event flowers. So we'll have more information about that. Hopefully have a demo for you guys, so anyone that's not familiar with that can check it all out. Very cool. right, so we're going to move on right now to flower design questions. The first question in this segment is pretty funny. So Caitlin says, random, totally off topic. Who did Beyonce's flower piece for her baby shoot? Dave, do you know?
This was extremely difficult to even find online, let alone to confirm. So my disclaimer is this is still unconfirmed, but there's an artist called Awal Arizku, and he's a multimedia artist and possibly the photographer and the floral set designer for that particular shoot. If anyone can substantiate this, let us know. Kind of a big mystery. Spent several hours trying to research it, and that's as far as I could get, and it still wasn't, it didn't seem concrete to me. So let us know if you know.
I haven't seen anything. I know. Does anyone know? We typically are involved with a lot of the kind of big celebrity flower things that you'll see in the magazines and on entertainment news. But I haven't heard a peep about this. So I don't know either, Dave.
It's a tough one. So someone out there knows, but they're not talking. So.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so next question is from Carrie. She wants to know, how do you make a graduation podium piece not look like a funeral spray?
Well,
Such a great, great question.
It's pretty obvious. Stay away from the funeral palm leaves and glads and things that are typical. There's ways to get dimension without using that. You can do monstera. You can use large branches to create size, and then fill in with fun seasonal stuff. It doesn't have to all be pom-poms and carnations.
Yeah, that's great. It looks like Ryan is almost here.
He's almost here.
He's kind of here. We'll see. All right. Oh, it's not. Oh, maybe not. We're having issues today. Sorry, guys. That's the way of the world when you're doing live video.
You can't take it back. So I learned that last month. But
no, I can't take it back. And sometimes things don't work, and it is what it is. Ryan, yeah, definitely next time though, Ryan, because everything that you're passionate about definitely keeps on coming up. So I want to definitely give you some time to talk. So we'll, and then it'll be something to look forward to for July. Okay, so next question, and we're gonna keep on moving on. Okay, next question is, because we have 15 minutes left, is from Tyler A. Wolf. They want to know, he or she, don't know, they're having a hard time knowing what greenery to choose. Could we talk about that?
First of all, I just pop into a Mayesh branch and check out the seasonal availability. We carry so many different unique things. You can also snip the internet for creative inspiration. Designing is really about setting yourself apart from the other guy by developing your own brand. So experiment, do different things. There's tons of fascinating ways to create your own style. Check out our flyer library. You might find some inspiration there.
Yeah. And we have a category for foliages. It doesn't have everything in it. We're still working on our flower library. It has thousands of pictures in it, and Dave is actually one of the guys who helps us get those images up there. So, and we just edited, I think, like 600 images, something like that. So they've been working their way up into the flower library and to our Mayesh market as well. So, yeah, check that out. And then, just doing a little research. I love Pinterest for those types of things too. So check that out. And then talking to your rep and letting them know like the type of look that you're wanting to go for. Some have been designers or, might do a little freelance work on the side as well. I know a lot of our reps love design. They love flowers, so they really get into it. We have managers who were designers. So all across the company and on top of our sales reps. So a lot of times if you describe the look that you're going for, they would be able to help you find those appropriate foliages that you need to make that design work for you. So check it out. And then I think here, I'll post the link for the flower library again. And the link that I just posted is for the foliages category in the flower library. So check it out. Okay, next question is from Obsessed with Flowers. How do you make a cost-effective flower wall?
Well, there's many ways to do it. First, you need to determine if you're going to salvage it after your event or dumpster it. Using a base of moss or branches that can be reused is a good first step. You can spread the initial cost of fabrication across your subsequent rental events. If you're buying bulk on Mayesh Market, that's another great way to save cost, for doing large purchases. So it really depends. Are you reusing the flower wall? Because that's going to determine whether you can spread that cost out further. If you're just going to dumpster it, then you're going to have to go cheap, keep your costs down. So recycle, repurpose, reuse.
And I just exactly. And so Beth O'Reilly did a video not that long ago, a couple years ago, I think, on flower walls, and she did it using not too many flowers, actually. So we're going to post that video up on the comments, and you guys can check that out. I just realized, though, that I had a link, and I don't see it, for the flower walls that we built. Here, I have it right now. For our flower wall collective design. Do you guys remember when we did that for our open house? So each of our branches built a flower wall using the Oasis foam tiles, which are really cool. I have pictures of kind of a lot of the walls before they were done, and a kind of a list of materials for you guys to check out. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in more about how to build flower walls and how to do it cost effectively. Everything that Dave said was great. But again, if you're worried about just not being able to fill it with flowers, you can definitely do it with mosses and greens and things like that. And that's what Beth did. And then she glued on like Oasis floral foam cages and then used that to add in the flowers. So it was really cool. Definitely a different take on a flower wall. So check that out. All right. Let me go back to my notes because I totally lost my place because I was trying to find that link. All right. Raynell, I think is her name. Raynell McNeil. She wants to know, what is the best technique to do floral wall with flowers or greenery? Is it water tubes or Oasis backing with chicken wire? There's my link. I moved it to this question,
right, well,
Dave.
We kind of covered.
I was like,
that's all right. We covered a little bit of this in the last question.
Yes.
The Oasis floral foam tiles that we used were amazing. I will tell you that we had to pan glue them onto a background board, and then we did use chicken wire over them to secure the flowers that we put into it. It kind of gave it a little more structural support. They're lighter and shallower in dimension. They help you keep your weight down, which is super important because some of those walls, once they're loaded with water and flowers, can weigh a ton. And moving them,
a ton. Even with those tiles,
right,
they weigh a lot.
moving them around is, you almost have to build it in the place where you're going to be displaying it. Water tubing is another great way to fabricate a wall, and you can use it in all kinds of other applications. The only limitation with water tubing is that your flower, if it's drinking a lot of water, it's not going to have a lot of longevity in it. So you need to consider how long you need to keep your flowers alive. You can mix and match a bunch of different media, like you said, Beth, using the floral cages, there's so many ways to do it. I mean, you can use dry products and glue them in. You can use wire and other media. You can really mix it up however you want. You're the artist, so it's your vision.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I don't have anything else to add to this since I was looking for that link frantically. All right. Moving on. We have a couple of questions about hydrangea. The first one is from Phyllis. She says, I have to make a hand-tied hydrangea bouquet, which she's never done. She's heard that these flowers don't hold up very well. Any suggestions?
Okay, well, it's true. Some hydrangeas can be super fussy. They don't like the heat of summer or being out of water for long periods of time. When you're selecting your hydrangea, check that the blooms feel firm and slightly leathery to the touch, because the ones that are a little bit firmer are actually in a state where they're going to last you longer. The mini green, the lime green, the antiques, they all tend to be a little bit hardier. Some are cut at a more premature stage, like the mini greens. The antiques, the sugars have already started to go out of the bloom heads, so it tends to toughen them up. Actually, the antique ones you can hang and dry, and they keep a lot of their color as well and their shape, which is awesome if you're doing, fall floral, dried arrangements and whatnot. The key with hydrangea and any flower is to properly hydrate it and use the right floral food. Pampered flowers always perform better, period.
I love that. We need to, I need to put that on a t-shirt or something.
I'll wear it.
I love it. I have to say, back in the day when I did some wedding flowers, and I never had an issue with hydrangea because I always made sure that it was properly hydrated, that the heads were always firm. If there was a head, because you always get those heads like here and there that look like they're having an issue, don't dare use those, because they probably will.
I do have one other little trick, I guess you call it, a little hack for hydrangeas and other woody stemmed florals. If you take a potato peeler and you just peel off the bottom 2 to 3 inches, exposing some of the soft matter underneath, they're going to take water from a larger surface area than just the very bottom of the stem that you've cut. So that's something else you can try and see if it works for you. People tell me all the time they dunk the heads and it works well for them. My only concern would be in humid places where it might actually activate botrytis spores. So here in the desert, it probably works really well for, all intents and purposes, but depending on your locality, it might not be a good choice if it's cold or if it's, humid. So just another tip I thought of.
Right. Yeah, and Lynn asked pretty much a similar question. How do I keep hydrangea wedding bouquet perfect for the day of the wedding?
And that's another good question. Floral foam is awesome for a lot of uses, but it can block and slow the uptake of water in hydrangeas and other flowers. And hydrangeas drink a lot of water. The way to keep them happy in a foam arrangement is by creating a 1 to 2 inch void underneath at the very bottom, which essentially makes a reservoir. Make sure those stems go all the way through the foam into that reservoir and it's unobstructed water source. Water tubing is good short term, but again, because hydrangeas drink so much water, you're going to have to refill those water tubes. So you need to think about timing and that kind of stuff. If it's just for a day, probably okay in a water tube. Long term, not so much.
Right. And that advice is good if you're thinking about doing centerpieces. Trista asked about tall centerpiece designs, but for Lynn with the wedding bouquet, I think either if it's hand tied, making sure it's in the water as long as it possibly can, or using one of our sponsors for our swag bags, our new one, Eco Fresh Bouquet. They create this wrap that you can put around the end of the bouquet. And our design star, Christy Holsey, she loves those. She even used them. I think it was in this video. And I think another video too, when she made the big Southern Smilax arbor. She always wraps her little bunches of flowers in the Eco Fresh Bouquet material, and it works really well for her. So check that out as well. Okay, so Rebecca Butler says, how do you do mechanics of flowers on this arch to secure them? Let me share my screen. I actually have this up. Let me try and share my screen because we don't do this very often. Application window. Let's see how this works. Okay, I want to make that big. Let's try. And then I'll go to Pinterest so you can see the, oh, did I lose it? Here, I'll go to my notes. Can you guys see that? Can you see that picture? Okay, Dave.
All right, well, to me, it looks like this look could be easily constructed using 2 Oasis foam cages. You can wire tape those onto the arch. Insert your flowers from each of the focal points. It looks like they've wrapped some plumosa around the armature and hung a few blooms there using like a monofilament fishing line. So pretty simple to do. You know, you're just using your cages as your 2 focal points on there. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, and we have like 3 minutes left, and we have one more question left on our show notes. So we're going to go ahead and answer that real quick. So from Shelby, Dusty Miller and bouquets. More often than not, the product comes in super short. What are some tips and tricks for using it in bridal bouquets?
Lucky for you, we import beautiful long stem Dusty Miller from a South American grower. It's available almost all year round, and it's super tall. It can be like 60 centimeters, 50 centimeters, which, you know, that's got some height on it. Just ask your local Mayesh branch to order it in for your next event. It's as easy as requesting it.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, you know, speaking to your rep, you know, talk to your rep and find out about our Mayesh Luxe blooms, because I would consider the extra tall Dusty Miller to be a part of that. We have a lot of different flowers that we can get in really tall, really big, the fails with the crazy amount of blooms, but we definitely need lead time on things like that. And so just check out what we have available. There's so much to list, and we're working on kind of getting more information out about that. But if you're looking for something specific, or you've seen something at a market or whatever, most cases we can get those flowers, but we just need to know that you need them, because there's a lot of times where there's the big crazy blooms that we just can't carry in our coolers, but we definitely can order them for you, like Dave said. So that's awesome. Allie is posting the link for Mayesh Luxe blooms in the comments, so check that out. And I think that's it for our questions. Dave, do you have anything that you wanted to share before I close it out?
I just want to thank everyone again for having us here, and give us your questions for next time, so we can start looking those up for you and do some research.
Exactly. You can post your questions here. I also peeked over at the Facebook live video, and people are asking questions there. And then you can definitely email them to marketing@mayesh.com. I'll get them. My team will get them, and we can add them into our notes for the next show. So thank you everyone for joining us. This was amazing. I hope that you found great value in it. I will be posting the replay up on our blog. I have a bunch of meetings today, so I will try and get it today. If not, it will definitely be tomorrow. I'll send out a notification to you guys and let you guys know that it's live and ready to go. And when you see that and you found value in this, please share this with your flower friends. Let them know that you love this show, and we would love to hear from you again with your questions, or if you yourself have something that you would like to share. I'm always game to have another guest on with our show. Again, be sure to save your seat for our next show happening July 18th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific, and Ellie will post the link for that as well, so that way you guys can save your seats. So it's time to wrap up. If you're new to the show, I hope you follow our channel. Next, if you found value on our show, again, please share it. And finally, thank you for coming and being a part of our show. Dave and I will be back next month, so send in your questions and ask us anything. With that, I hope you have a rocking day.
Thanks.
See you soon. Bye, guys.